My name is Hina Imtiaz,
Hello, my name is Shu Sang.
and we are here to present the findings from the research project through University of Houston and the Texas Southern University. Shuying and I participated in a community-led project research study to determine what civic engagement means to the communities of Houston, and specifically our area of focus was ALEAF. So we're here to present our findings after talking with the community members and conducting interviews with community leaders. So to start off, the partnering study communities that we focused on in this study were ALEAF, Meyerland, Westbury, near Northside, and Pleasantville. And our community partner for this study was OCA Greater Houston through Debbie Chen. And the researchers from the University of Houston are Dr. Suzanne Pritzker and Texas Southern University, Dr. Danae King. So the research design was community grounded and through community partnerships in each of the 4 community focused areas. For ALEAF, it was myself and Shuying. So we were trained in the research process. We developed focus group questions with the whole group, recruited and conducted focus groups in the 4 Houston communities in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese Mandarin, and Urdu, with a total of 190 community members. We held 9 focus groups in the ALEAF community in English, Vietnamese, Chinese Mandarin, and Urdu. And we helped to code the focus group transcripts once the focus groups and interviews were completed. We helped the research leads to interpret findings, identified strategies to address the findings, and now we're here to present them.
And here's some of the questions that we had asked members of the ALEAF community. How do the community member defines the civic engagement, and what facilitates the civic engagement, and what are the barriers to civic engagement as perceived by the community members? And also, how does the crisis of recovery process from Hurricane Harvey impact how community members experience the civic engagement?
So before we dive into answering those questions, here are some of the definitions of civic engagement that we got from the community members throughout the study. So not just focused on ALEAF, but throughout the study. People have various definitions of what civic engagement means. So for some that involved watching out for their neighbors. For others, it involved attending meetings, holding others accountable, contacting your elected officials, and volunteering. So there are various definitions depending on who you ask what civic engagement means to them. And that was our focus of this study. So to start off, the strategies to increase civic engagement, these are some of the main ideas that we came up with. So we started off with creating neighborhood information sessions, and this is all information based on the feedback that we got during our focus interviews and focus group sessions. So to create neighborhood information sessions, we need to educate community leaders on important information and the various languages and dialects, as well as education levels needed to communicate with the community members. We need to educate the community on how to deal with concerns, how to get involved, who to hold accountable, and how to make change happen, especially after disaster happens. Community members need to know how to get private and federal funding options. So this is to make sure that community members can get the information that they really need on how to be involved and where to find the information that they need.
And we have also got feedback from the community members that they say that needs to simplify the the communication techniques using the variety of the communication method like the internet, group chat, the paper, the newspaper, TV, radios, and also those communication should reflect the many language and dialect and different education level in the community. Because not everyone like understand the same level that the English, and also share the information on how to help and how to get help, as well as on who needs help in the communities. Working with a trusted organization and religious ethic group to share and receive information within the communities.
So another strategy is that community organizations need to share information, give regular updates, seek out new ideas, and find ways to be more inclusive. And through the feedback, we determined that organizations need to increase efforts to share information on what is happening within the A-Leaf community and how community members can engage with that. Organizations need to be based within the community so that people feel comfortable speaking openly with them. And they feel comfortable addressing the leaders because they know the leaders. So we would need to have community leaders serve as coordination points to help get people the resources they need. Religious organizations to assist in the Muslim and South Asian communities was big because the religious organizations are larger over there, and people are more connected through that. We need to be mindful of the specific needs of the Vietnamese and Muslim communities when planning how information and resources are shared, what the community members need, and what residents already have access to. We also need to utilize known community organizations to assist in the Vietnamese community, like BPSOS.
And another strategy is provide community members with inviting an inclusive space to gather. So understand the importance of cultural connection. Utilize inclusive space for events like museum, art installation, or community centers, so that we reflect the community members' different cultural background. And most important is consider the transportation needs of the community members, because a lot of them maybe like the elders, they don't drive, so we gotta include that in the program.
We also need to create events and incentives that reflect community interests. For the South Asian community, we discovered that community events that are focused on benefiting the next generation and helping the children are more often attended. For the older Chinese community who are not fluent in Mandarin, expanded language access is important, and to plan events hosted by trusted community members. We also need to host events that assist in expanding community members' views and dispelling the model minority myth.
And also, the leader needs to be more open, intentional, and held responsible for their actions. The officials should come out and focus on working with the groups in the community, not just getting the votes for themselves. And leaders should be more inclusive by providing resources in various languages while building trust with the immigrant communities.
So next we go on to strategies to increase civic engagement after disasters such as Hurricane Harvey. Leaders need to coordinate efforts with other leaders in the community. So finding ways to work together between community lines, be more intentional about getting the information out, signing members up to get information, and inviting people to increase civic engagement following a disaster. So leaders would work to coordinate relief efforts following a disaster, and that helps encourage others to step up when it appears the government isn't really stepping up. Also, communication needs to be straightforward and easily accessible for different languages and educational levels, using various methods of communication like we talked about before, and making sure that everything is easy to understand. So we could use group chats to connect those who are not impacted with people who are impacted and who need help. Also, we need to make sure to improve language access while being mindful of different dialects and education levels when dispelling this information.
Yes, and leaders need to simplify how the helping process works, being mindful of the language accessibility and make it easier to navigate, share the information how to apply for assistance and be aware of the language needs in the community, expand community organizations that have contact with the main government entities to make sure the important information is sent out to all the community members, and utilize the social media to help get information out to the community members and increase their civic engagement, and use the social media and group chat application to connect all those people who's not being impacted with the people who need help.
So now we just have a quick Q&A with any feedback or questions you might have. We just have a few questions for you if you're able to give us a quick answer, or if you have any questions or feedback for us, we're happy to answer anything that we can. So for today's presentation, do you feel that the information that we shared represents your thoughts on what civic engagement looks like in your community? Do you have any additional thoughts related to civic engagement that you would like to share with us? And do you feel that there's anything missing from the strategies shared that you think would help make it more or less likely that people in your community would be more involved? Also, as a quick note, this presentation will have this up in Facebook as well as on YouTube, so you can always come back to review the presentation and see what all of the information was, and if you need access to any of that.
So did anyone has any question or comment?
Well, if that's it for us, we thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll have more sessions that will let you see what civic engagement looks like. And if you have any comments or thoughts or feedback, you're welcome to leave comments on the YouTube page or on Facebook, and reach out to the professors of the universities as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
Hey.
Has everyone filled out the census?
Yeah, of course.
Nah, it doesn't help my community.
What?
The census data determines funding for services and infrastructure in our communities.
Like what?
We'll show you.
Hi everyone. I'm at the hospital right now, and a reason why you should fill out the census is because a lot of the money will be invested in hospital and healthcare resources.
Hey guys, I'm at the park, and if you didn't know, filling out the census gets more funding for renovated parks and also creates safer playgrounds for children.
Now I'm in Rhodes, and your response for the 2020 census, which includes every person living in the U.S., may help decide when and where roads and bridges will be built in your community.
Hi everyone. Now I'm at the school, and the 2020 census will actually also benefit the school systems and education in general, because there will be more money for teachers to support their students fully.
Did you know it also affects the overall community? More than $65 billion in federal funding flows back to the states and local communities each year based on the census data.
Wow, so the census really is important.
Of course it is important, and that's why you need to tell your friends, your neighbors, and everyone you know to fill out the census so we can help our communities grow.